Ansary here, December 29th, 2016, doing a video outside this morning. So amongst all the news and stuff that I am now covering on this channel, I'll also continue to come back, take time, talk about things on a more practical level, speak from the heart, speak off the top of my mind. As far as I'm concerned, you have a lot of teachers in your world. You certainly have people that are showing you this is not the way to go. You may not realize that they're teachers, but they are. It's really in how you look at the news. One person can look at the news and assume that it's all negative and not want to look at it. So in truth, they make it negative through their own judgment, and they don't understand the root causal factors behind certain things. And certainly there's a lot of human beings that don't understand how, as a collective, as a species, we continue to be duped by these misleaders over and over and over again. So there's a reason why I talk about psychic protection on this channel, and meditation being at the core root of that. And the core root of meditation, things such as observing your breath, deep breathing, as well as Vipassana style observation of breath, grounding yourself, clearing yourself. So I talk about off-grid living, and I bring different topics together on this channel. See, it's not just off-grid living. We talk about strong mind, body, and spirit. We talk about the power of the individual shift in consciousness, the differentiation between that and this, this picture perfect, happy, shiny people holding hands, collective shift in consciousness that has been promised to so many of us for so long. In fact, we were called non-believers, some of us, for not getting on board certain ascension theories. So there are real, genuine spiritual teachings and practices and beliefs. And there's ways that meditation is there to help you still your mind and to see reality for what it is, to see through the illusion. And then there are those that twist spiritual teachings around for their own agenda. And so don't let the things that have happened to you or the propaganda that was force-fed into you, whether it be from the New Age or the religious community or the worship of the limited understanding of science in conjunction with atheism. See, so there are these dominant belief systems that are dogmas in our life that ultimately act as a filter. They act as a filter. And those voices of influence, those people in our lives, sometimes I use the term peer pressure, group, social circles, and a lot of you have them. People that tell you that you don't have the answers inside. Now, notice how long I've been kind of going on my own way and kind of operating outside mainstream society. For how many years have I said the path to the ultimate truth and place of power still lies within? I started saying that in the beginning, when I first started Outside the Box TV in 2005. Back then, there was a lot of people that were looking for answers, and I would say now there are still people that are looking for answers. It can be challenging for myself, though, to have patience in a world where a certain amount of the audience, for example, is being so inundated with information and disinformation and counterfeit spiritual teachings that a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing almost seems to not even be received or be reaching the people that I'm trying to reach. So by no means is this an easy job. And for me to continue to see things as they are, I have to understand and know that everything that we do has power and meaning, and we do things with the intention of helping others or sending a message in a bottle, if you will, which this is the digital message through the machine that's receiving you instantaneously, and our ancestors did not have this technology years ago. A lot of people don't understand it in today's day and age. The use of YouTube to share an idea that is powerful, an idea whose time has come that an army cannot stand down or hold down. No hand, no still fist draped in a velvet glove can suppress. No king, no demigod, no antichrist. So I advocate impacting this world in a positive way with all technological, monetary, psychological, physical, all ways that we can improve the world by sharing information and reminding people that they have a choice to stay in the illusion or to start to see things as they are. They don't need those special sunglasses from They Live. But it's really peeling back the layers of the onion and revealing what is there. I'll tell you what's there when we look at the layers of the onion when we pull back the reality of the United States. It's a ticking time bomb. And probably one of the most ignorant as well as spoiled societies that I have ever lived in. To know that there is a mass consensus reality within this nation that does not want to be warned about its own corruption or the corruption of its misleaders because of their simple desire to want to love those misleaders, to fill some sort of a void because they didn't like the leader before, the one before. So somehow in their mind, they need to be in a psychological place to where they can love their leader again. Because it feels good, like biting into steak or something, almost as if their body is telling them that they need that in order to feel whole. And this is the sickness. If you are in the Western world now and you're looking around at the things going on and the things that are going on in society, and we talked about these fights that were breaking out at the same time within a few days. At a few malls, and I'm sure there's probably a little bit of a solar influence to that as well. How can that be described as a sign of a new enlightenment, of the likes of which has been promised to us by the mainstream New Age movement and people of the likes of James Gilliland or Alfred Weber of exopolitics? And so actually when you're dealing with the counterfeit salvation, as I've said many times in many videos, you're also dealing with this counterfeit fear of this blowing up next month or this mass extinction event next month. And a lot of people get hooked on that. They get hooked on the blind fears and they get hooked on the blind hopes. And they're less interested in hearing about a middle way. Many Westerners want to stay in their Western mind. Okay, so they love the blind hopes, they love the demigods, and they're addicted to the blind fears. It's like a product of the Western mind. The concept of balance, of like yin-yang, or a sense of harmony, or a sense of observation and stepping back and looking at it from the observer perspective, it's really not represented within our culture, within our society, and certainly not the quote-unquote alternative media. I'll tell you what, those are big shoes to try to fill when you feel like you're one of the only ones that's trying to assist people on a spiritual note and not just, inform them with fear porn or to do things with a sense of motivation for money. Now, if some of you are curious, why, Alex, are you starting to report more news? Well, there's a part of me that enjoys what I believe is a talent of mine or a gift to literally sift through an apocalypse, an anarchy of information, and to pull out those headlines that I believe are relevant. And so when it comes to pulling those headlines and then reporting on that, there's skill involved in that, focus, attention span, working all day long, every day. And so in order to improve my life in other ways, I am using the law of attraction, if you will, and I am telling myself that I will become more successful at generating more revenue so I can have a real vacation in several months, so I can start enjoying more of life, so I can actually start appreciating the fruits of my labor and it not just be this constant uphill battle. Tell you what, going off grid and starting to invest on a monthly basis in my own land, going off grid when the country is suffering from civil unrest, probably one of the best things to ever happen to me, and enables me the peace in mind so I can better hone the message, which is more of a spiritual message than it is a revolutionary one. As most of you know that are regular viewers, I'm more of a philosopher. I'm more of a person that speaks from the heart, off the top of his mind. And so that's why I have to break it up. I'll cover a lot of news because, frankly, folks, if the donations are not going to come in, well, then I'm going to have to make a few extra dollars for meat, if you will, or food or gas expenses through other means. If just talking to you from the heart isn't enough to entertain you, I have to bring in, obviously, other viewers as well to literally pay the bills. But to be in a situation to where the power of that sun is powering those solar panels, which powers that battery bank, okay, which runs in a long cord into this shed. This shed, about $4,000 put into it from energy put into what I do online, as well as working at a restaurant last year in town. Again, all this took time to find the right county that was for me. And now that I'm here and literally snowed in, RV's right there, it's not moving for several months. Again, it's given me that time and peace to focus on the videos, and nothing but the videos, as well as posting news to my associate's website, and evolving with the times to become a more disciplined content creator. And at the same time, not lose myself in the process. How many people do I consider to be my peers in the alternative media or free media that also give time to the soul and freeing our minds from those illusions and delusions? And we don't even have to use the term archon to talk about freeing ourselves and empowering ourselves. We really don't even have to necessarily look in that direction, but it helps to look in that direction and discuss the reality that many human beings today have been led astray by forces known and unknown. It's like that person that has that abscess. Well, at some point, if you really do need dental work, or if you really do need surgery, or if you really do need certain things, it might help to see a doctor or somebody. Just wishing that it goes away, or that the abscess goes away, or that the bullet wound goes away. In a physical world, those types of attitudes don't really help. So why do people hold on to these attitudes that we're not going to look at the negative and the potential that some of these human beings that exist with us in us on this planet are under a spell? Instead, I would recommend peeling back the layers of one's consciousness and going beyond ego and seeking to understand as well as accept the truth of our circumstances. And if we don't accept the truth of our circumstances spiritually here on the earth and why we're here, and be able to find those things outside of a church, then how are we going to evolve beyond this matrix? If we don't open up our minds to teachings and texts, and it doesn't have to necessarily be the Nagamati, but perhaps opening up your consciousness to being able to hear someone else's truth and not just your own truth, and actually be interested in how they came to their own awareness. And I think things like that are missing in our culture. So as I leave you here today in this video, and there'll be more. I appreciate those of you that are choosing to support on a few dollars every month via Patreon or PayPal. Okay, because things like that mean all the difference in the world, as well as other contributions, as well as sharing the videos and sharing the information and taking it seriously. Not taking it for granted just because you have so many different options on the internet. Because it truly is the most important thing for me to give you this information and to work full time speaking to you about the things that I've learned throughout my life, not being someone else's slave in this matrix. So I leave you with the encouragement that you have the ability to do amazing things with your mind. You want to steer away from the negative self-talk that you can't focus, that you can't meditate, that you can't breathe, that you can't understand the mind of God, that these things are forbidden. And whether it's in your cellular memory or in your soul memory during the witch hunts or another period of time, you got to heal beyond that stuff and start to see reality as it is, because it's going to benefit you in the end. It's like somebody may have to, if they're on drugs, for example, or something very detrimental, a detox. Some people do detoxes because of their diets, and they go through the detox, die off symptoms, usually in the first few days or first few weeks, because it's a process in order for them to get to the other side. But once they're on the other side of the hump, and whatever it is, quitting meat or quitting certain bad habits or quitting smoking, once they're on the other side of that hump, they feel different. Once they've walked over that fire, they feel different. So, imagine yourself grounded to the earth, just like that lecture from Maurice, or rather, Manly P. Hall. Magnetic fields around the human body and the connection to morality. By doing good deeds, having a stronger protective magnetic field, and understanding the parallels between the Earth's protective magnetic field, how it protects our planet from comets, asteroids, solar radiation, other things, and how our human field also needs care and attention. That's where our thoughts are important. That's where breathing and having a strong heart and not having massive blockages. So I also advocate natural body movements, even martial arts, to release that energy. And even though this is a world where a lot of people focus on martial arts being violent, I would actually recommend a different perception of natural body movements regarding energy, especially when you're dealing with circular motion, flowing movements, deep breathing, and then, of course, creativity, where you're not stuck in a fundamentalist dogmatic stance, but you're actually flowing around and moving naturally with the wind. And I would work on this. I would work on being able to instantaneously, regardless of what's in the news or what's going on up here, pull yourself back from all the distractions and come, as I say, fully in your body. You can be in New York City, you can be in Portland, Oregon, you can be in Miami, Florida, or Los Angeles, California. You have all this madness. We don't have to leave out Oklahoma City or Denver, going on around you and within you. But you have the power within you to literally snap out of it and come back into yourself. So there's certain movements that I also demonstrate that allows us to really reconnect with that primal earth energy. And so, in so many ways, that's how you save yourself. By grounding, tapping into your own energy, making sure that your thoughts are your own, having seniority over your physical space, and understanding the energy centers. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people out there, in my opinion, that don't. And because they don't, and because they haven't taken responsibility for themselves to see things as they are stuck in an illusion. And so I've taken upon myself for the remainder of this life, while I'm in this body, to help as many people as possible. And by doing that and being sincere with regards to that, not having another agenda or other people in my life trying to steer things behind the scenes, I feel freer than most. Somebody could look down on the fact that I live here and I'm snowed in, but I know that the investment in the physical land itself, even though it's spread out for 4 years, that's what some people pay 1 year in the city. What people spend 1 year in the city to live and rent and have something that they'll never own, that same amount or so, and for some people it's $20,000, for some people it's $15,000, that would pay off this land in full. So to be able to show you that I can live off less, that I literally have very few expenses other than internet and land payments, and I don't really go out and spend money on other things, and the types of things that I'm eating right now are very, very simple. Very light on the animal product, heavy on the quinoa and the still cut oats, and things that are not exactly expensive. Quinoa is cheap if you buy it in bulk online, as I do on eBay. So those are some things from me to you. If you like this video, you might consider becoming a monthly contributor, and I'll come back with more. as time goes on. Subscribe if you're new. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of news coming your way to not only give you inspiration about the Matrix evolving spiritually, but accurate, updated information on the real news that's not really being addressed in the proper context.